Cell phones have taken over the world, man. They've certainly changed the world. And it kind of makes you wonder what history would have been like if cell phones had always existed, man. For example, can you imagine if Christopher Columbus had an iPhone, right? Here. Imagine if he had an iPhone, man. Now, chances are he might not have discovered the new world, you know? Now, can you imagine Columbus? Hey Siri, show me directions to the East Indies, right? Now Siri goes, to get to the East Indies, sail east. But Columbus goes like, no, we ain't going east. We're gonna get to the east by sailing west. Now give me something that goes west. And Siri goes, recalculating. After the next barrier reef, sail east. Now Columbus is losing it, man. He's like, I said we ain't going east. We got places to go discover by accident. Keep going west, guys. And Siri goes, recalculating. You will reach your destination in 5 weeks. Columbus is like, 5 weeks? Like, hell we are. I ain't missing 5 weeks of happy hour over some herbs and spices. Turn these boats around, boys. We're going back in. Yeah, maybe we'll not have discovered the new world. You see what I'm saying? If cell phones always existed, maybe we wouldn't have marathons today, man. Because that guy back in ancient Greece who ran 26.2 miles to deliver a message, well, he would have just made a phone call, right? And maybe we would still have the French Revolution. But instead of a tale of two cities, Dickens would have written about a tale of two phone companies, man. And the people would revolt because only the aristocrats had unlimited data. You know what I'm saying? And what if Jesus had a cell phone? Well, see, if Jesus had a cell phone, chances are he might have literally called the 12 apostles. And maybe some of his followers might have been on Facebook, you know? And remember that story about the Good Samaritan? This guy got beat up, the Levites passed him by, the Good Samaritan stopped to help him out. Well, chances are if they had cell phones back then, it might have gone a little bit different, you know? Maybe the Levites would have stopped, but instead of helping out, they might have done what people do at accidents today, man. They just take out their phones and they're recording footage to share later on, you know? And the Good Samaritan, he would have still stopped to help, but maybe instead of jumping right in, he might have taken out his phone, you know? And he's like, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy, the Good Samaritan. So this dude was going about his business when he got jacked. I mean, talk about societal breakdown, man. That's why Jesus is telling this story. It's part of the Sermon on the Mount, and if you missed that, click a link in the description below, you know. Now, I'm going to go help him out real quick, but just want to remind you to smash that like button. And if you're here for the first time, please remember to subscribe. I guess I got to go help him out right now. Looks like he's bleeding out. And what about Moses, man? Now, if they had cell phones back then when Moses went to deliver the Israelites from Egyptian bondage, you know, when he started performing all those miracles, Pharaoh, he might have leaned over to his guys and he's like, do we have an app for that? You know? And remember when darkness covered the land for 3 days, man? Well, if they had cell phones, it probably would have took 4 days, man. Because when the darkness started, the Egyptians would have been walking around with their flashlight phones, man. And they would have been going until the battery ran out, see me? Yeah. And then when the Israelites are marching through the Red Sea, they're stopping to take selfies, you know? And then when Moses broke the 2 tablets, see, if they had cell phone technology back then, maybe all he would have needed to do was replace the screens. Yeah, man. And what about mobile games, you know? See, if cell phones existed back then, they would have need to have games on them, right? But maybe you'd have games like Need for Speed, Ben-Hur, right? And you probably have Angry Birds, David and Goliath. Well, there were no birds then, but the sling, get it? Yeah, man. And you'd have Mortal Kombat, Enter the Colosseum. You know, those gladiators back in Rome, you know? That's how it would have gone, you know? And you know, if they had cell phones in the Garden of Eden, then we could argue if the forbidden fruit was an apple or Android.